morning, students. I hope you all enjoyed the video provided previous day. I think you all cannot complete it in a day because it will take much time and you have lot other works to do. So whenever you get time, please do watch the full thing. That's why I provided drama in drama form, because there are a lot of difference between something being picturized and something that is acted. Since we have drama, so you should get that, uh, you should witness something that is performed on stage, that is going to provide you the realistic approach. You all get the realistic experience regarding that. That's why it was given and as in a drama form. So if you need, means if you require, let me know. I can provide that picture version as well. So we have already completed Tempest Act 1 and Act 2. We have Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3 here. So in this segment, so Act 1 and 2 already we have completed, and if you have not gone through line to line, then you need to go through them once again. And if you find some of the places where you cannot get the things, you can let me know. Today we are going to start Act 3. In this particular act we have 3 scenes, and the first scene we will find the development of the relation between Miranda and Ferdinand, while Prospero will remain as a passive observer, and he will be somehow, it was happening or taking place according to his own planning, so he will be rejoicing definitely. So let us see what happens in this particular scene. Scene 1, Act 3. Enter Ferdinand bearing a log. So he was given certain tasks to be performed, and he was carrying logs, and he was saying to his own self, there be some sports are painful. Some of the tasks some of the tasks are there, they demand much labor. Okay, they are quite laborious, and their labor delight in them set off, and in such work the doer is also sometime is compensated with much pleasure that is hidden within this pain. Some kind of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. And some of the works are there, they really have something, means they really provide, though they carry some in order to carry forward those works, we need certain labors, still they provide some pleasure, or some noble reason remain hidden within it. That means he compares his own work, and he somehow compensates that, though he is given some task, some some of the tasks that are repulsive, that are not that much unpleasant rather, still he has a certain purpose to carry forward those tasks, and that he compares to gain Miranda with the noble fruit that he explains here. This my main task would be as heavy to me as odious. So this extremely unpleasant or repulsive work of mine is a kind of that type of task. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead. But the mistress whom I want to serve, this means I'm taking this toil in order to serve a mistress, and she is so interesting. She is such a kind of lady who can even make the most dull thing into, who can turn the most dull or the dullest thing into interesting one, and thus makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's craft, and he is composed of harshness. Father's craft means father's bad temperament. That lady, she is 10 times uh, 10 times gentle, more gentle than her father bad temperament, as well as his father. Her father is composed of harshness. He is a bit rough person and demanding as well. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a so injunction. Now he says that in order to gain that lady, I need to pile up thousands of logs and I need to serve that man's demand. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees my work, and my work means it's means quite degrading work or quite arduous task. So when my mistress witnesses me to do such degrading or arduous task, she keeps on weeping. So she weeps and says such baseness had never like executor, and she says such type of work was never done by anyone like me. I forget but these sweet thoughts to even refresh my labors most busiest when I do it. And while talking about her, I forget about the time. Though her thought only make at the peak hour of my busyness, then also it refreshes me. Her thought only refreshes me. Enters Miranda and Prospero at a distance unseen, and in the meantime Miranda and Prospero, both of them, they enter, but neither Ferdinand nor Miranda can find him, can see him, means they do not observe him. So he remains unseen, but he also remains present there. That's why I told he remains as a passive observer. Now Miranda says, alas, now pray you work not so hard. I beseech you not to work so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. I wish that lightning had fallen and reduced to ashes, ashes of those logs that you are piling, and or that the logs which you were ordered to pile up. Pray set it down and rest you. I request you to keep it down and to take rest. When this burns, it will weep for having wearied you. And when these logs will be burned to produce some fire, when we will burn these logs to produce some fire, means while burning, it will make some means some fluid that will somehow the full fluid that oozes out, that will definitely be considered as tears of these logs as they were carried by you. That means they will be, even the oozes, due to that fluid that oozes will come out, that will be tears of the logs. Out of sympathy they will also cry, means you are doing certain degrading work. That only she wants to mean. My father is hard at study. Pray now rest yourself. He is safe for these 3 hours. My father is presently busy at his study, and for next 3 hours you can take rest, because in this next 3 hours he will remain busy in his study. Ferdinand says, oh most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must try to do. I need to take this toil till sunset, then only I can take rest. Now Miranda says, if you will sit down, I will bear your logs the while. Pray give me that, I will carry it to the pile. If you give me permission, if you allow me, I will do the work on behalf of you while you will take some rest. Ferdinand says, no precious creature, means the precious lady obviously, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, rather I will break my muscles and I will get some fracture on my back before I allow you to do certain degrading work. While I will be idly sitting and you will be doing this degrading work, I will not do so. Rather I will prefer my muscles to be broken as well as my back to be somehow fractured. Miranda says, it would become me as well as it does you. If you can do this work, if it fits you, it can definitely fit me as well. And I should do it with much more ease, for my good will is to it, and yours is it is against. And this task will be quite easily performed by me, as am going to do it with my good will, while you are doing again the same task against your will. Prospero in aside says, poor worm, thou art infected. Poor worm, he addresses his own daughter affectionately. That poor worm means Miranda. You are infected. You are infected with, obviously, love. The visitation shows it. And since you have come to visit Ferdinand, this is a proof that you are affected. Miranda, you look very, you are much tired. You look very tired. No, noble mistress, it's fresh morning with me when you are by at night. Now he says, even if as you are there with me, even night can be as fresh as morning. I do beseech you chiefly that I might say it in my prayers. What is your name? I request you to let me know your name, because I want to utter the name in my prayer. Miranda. He says, Miranda, she says, Miranda, oh my father, I have broke your haste to say so. As soon as he says she declares her name, she remembers that she was told by her father not to tell him her name. That's why she says, I broke your command, as I, haste means command, as I declared my name to this young man. Ferdinand says, admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration. What's dearest to the world? Yes, it's quite. Now he keeps on praising the girl, that her name is so good, and means she is above all admiration. Full many a lady I have eyed with base regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. Throughout my life, I have come across many women, many ladies, and their names also and their voice also. It soothed my eyes that I was quite amazed. I was quite enchanted by them. Enchanted by them. For several virtues have I liked several women, and I have liked so many women as because all of them have certain virtues. Never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed. And I have liked many of them, but then also they had some kind of fall within them, and put it to the foil, and that's why I could not admire them with my full attention. But you, O you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best. But you are completely different. You are like a paragon, means who cannot be compared with anyone. And it, I means you are like from everyone, the best thing has been taken and you were formed. So you are beyond anyone's praise. You are so means peerless. You are paragon. No one can be compared with you. Now Miranda says, I do not know one of my sex, so no woman's face remember. I have never seen any female, and no woman's face also I can remember. I cannot remember any woman's face. Save from my class mine own. Only I have seen myself on mirror. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, and my father, dear father. Now he says, and even I have not seen any other man except you, my friend, and my father. How features are abhorred, I am skilless of, but by my, and I do not know, means I have no knowledge about the other person they look. Okay, so but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I have only one jewel in my dowry, that is my maidenhood, my virginity. On this I can swear, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. I would never prefer anyone to you as my companion in my future, nor can imagination form or shape besides yourself to like of. Now he says, and even if I imagine, then also I cannot imagine any other shape except than yours. But I prattle something too wildly, and my furthest precepts I then to forget. Now he says, but very recklessly I am disclosing myself, and I think I am going against my father's direction also. Means whatever my father asked me not to do, exactly the same thing I am doing over here recklessly. Ferdinand says, I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so. Now he says, and for my information, I can say that I am a prince. I probably am the king, but I don't want to be the king because it reminds me of my dead father, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Now he says, and I'm not going to continue with. I was never about to come, and I was never ready to continue with such degrading work. The I would not tolerate my lips being soiled by some flesh fly. Here my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did, my heart fly to your service. Now he says, as soon as I found you, I saw you, my heart was ready to serve you. It went on your slavery. There resides to make me slave to it, and my soul compelled me to be your slave and to carry forward such orders or such degrading task. And for your sake am I this petty and long man, and for yours only, to gain you in order to serve you and carrying forward such work. Miranda says, do you love me? O heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind, even if I speak true. I can take the heaven and earth as witness to confess my feelings for you, and if I am truthful, they must shower some blessings upon me. If hollowly invert what best is boded me to mischief, and if I say something falsely, then their blessing should turn into some kind of curse. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world to love, prize, honor you. Means above everything, I do admire. Miranda says, I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of. I am a fool that I am crying on such a thing when I hear so pleasant thing. And aside Prosperous, his fair encounter of two most rare affections. Means, two most rare affections means most unusual kind. Here I find the development of two persons, and the relationship is most unusual kind. Heaven's rain increase on that which breeds between them. May God bless some shower upon this development of this relationship. Miranda says, at mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, I cry on my inadequacy and lack of courage, lack of courage and capability to offer you which I want to offer, but I cannot, and much less take what I shall die to want, and even I cannot take something without which I may die. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself. The bigger bulk it shows, but it is due to my shyness that I cannot. It's quite means due to my shyness I cannot express myself. But here now I feel like the more shy I get, the bond or the feelings towards you, it gets stronger. Hence, bashful cunning and prompt me, plain and early innocence. I am your wife if you will marry me. If not, I will die your man. Now he says, with my most innocent thing, with my most innocent feelings, I offer myself as your wife if you consider And if you do not consider, then I'm going to die as a maiden. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I will be your servant, whether you will or not. And in case if you do not allow me to be your wife, I am ready to be your maid if you want, or if you do not want. In both the cases, I will be your servant. Ferdinand says, my mistress dearest, and I thus humble ever. No, he says, I prefer to be your servant, and he kneels. Miranda says, my husband then. Ferdinand says, with a heart as willing as bondage ever of freedom. Here's my hand. Now he says, yes, my heart is as willing as a person, as a slave who waits for freedom. The way a slave waits for freedom, my heart is also that much eager to get you into my life. Miranda says, and mine with my heart in it. And now farewell till half an hour hence. Now both of them, they agree with this. And he says, now for half an hour, we will meet again after half an hour. Ferdinand says, a thousand time goodbye. And both of them, they exit. Prospero in the meantime, he says, so glad of this as I cannot be. I'm so glad to find their relationship to be developed, but my pleasure cannot be more than them, who are surprised with all, and who means they were they thought this relationship to be the most unusual kind. That's why my pleasure cannot be more than them, but my rejoicing at nothing can be more. But then also I can say, I cannot be more happy or happier than this to anything else. I am more happier in such case. I will to my book for yet a supper time must I perform much business appertaining. Now he says, before I will not go to my study right now, because before supper time, before I take my food at night, I need to do certain work in order to execute my plan in a more grand way. So in this way, Act 3, Scene 1 completes. So I hope we have completed Act 1, Scene 1 also. I hope all of you have understood this scene. So what you need to do is to read this scene again and again and to learn it by your own self. So this much for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.